So, Mr. Abbosh, thank you for having time for us. In February this year, you wrote an article about predictable disruption. Can you just explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, I mean, there's no quibble on the year, but it was last year, so 16 I wrote it. But the point about disruption is that people often assume that you have to be surprised by it, and actually I don't believe that. We don't think so. The digital trends and customer expectation trends, they go across industries, and I think each company can look at its own business, understand where it makes the biggest margins, and immediately know that that's where disruptors are going to be going. And then secondly, they can go to Silicon Valley or Berlin or Shenzhen and see all the new innovation in the ecosystem of startup companies and figure out which ones are relevant to them and say, okay, if I put the innovation together with where the margin is, that's where the disruption is going to occur. And most people can see that if they spend a bit of time to really understand.
You also wrote about like emerging technologies, like for example, artificial intelligence. How are those technologies also disrupting maybe your, or maybe let's say change your business model of Accenture?
So when we think about our strategy, we're constantly looking at a very wide range of innovations that we think could alter, how we do things. And actually, we want to be the number one user of those innovations to disrupt ourselves. So that's how we think about it. So robotic process automation is a technology that allows you to streamline, standardize routine tasks in processes. And so, for example, in our business process operations or our IT operations, we have, for example, say testing new applications can be a routine task that lends itself to automation. So, of course, we go and we apply those automations ourselves to our own business to make sure we remain very competitive.
So I think that leads also good to another point you mentioned in this article. You said that companies have to do three things to be like successful in the digital economy, and one of it was to orchestrate the digital ecosystem developments, as you just mentioned. So what are the major developments? Like a lot of people are talking about robotics, AI. What is your opinion? In your opinion, the most relevant ones you see right now, which have to be applied in businesses?
I mean, that's a difficult and very broad question. But if I have to pick one area, I'm going to cheat and say data plus analytics plus AI, because they're on a continuum.